You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Right, so you've managed to confuse a lot of people within that argument. Weird times, buddy. Because like you weren't trying to say that all horizontals are not parallel because you can draw a cross on a piece of paper.
I was temporarily agreeing.
That wasn't the argument.
For fuck's sake.
Because some people have took it as though that is.
I'm sorry. A separate discussion. Happy to talk about that one day. What I originally suggested, and Mike knows this, Mike Jones. We agreed we'd sort of discuss the fifth postulate first. And you call it the triangle last time.
I do, yeah.
I discussed the swimming pool. Thank you, Mike. Question.
Weird times, buddy.
You don't understand.
Be quiet. Swimming pool. Thank you, Mike. Question.
You don't understand.
For fuck's sake. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Thank you, Mike.
You're just on your own.
Well, that I hold to be a self-evident. You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah. Because it's got just about a triangle, yeah.
The question is, why did you include that axiom? You call it the triangle axiom. Postulate.
I do, yeah.
Why did you include that at all? You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, because it sort of shows that triangles have 180 degrees, right? Or the sum of two right angles.
You know? So you're saying
to 180.
how does it show? Be quiet. Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you can prove that, but why did he include that? You call it the triangle axiom. If you can.
Oh, you can prove it.
Be quiet. If you can prove that triangles have, you call it the triangle. The sum of the angles is two right angles. Why would you need, for fuck's sake? I'm sorry, that's my question. You call it the triangle axiom.
You don't understand.
You call it the triangle axiom.
You don't understand.
I was temporarily agreeing. Be quiet.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Thank you, Mike.
You're just on your own.
For fuck's sake. I'm sorry. Horizontal lines can easily not be. Just as I suggested, you just sort of get a horizontal line. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. You put two crossing lines on them, and by definition, any two lines, straight lines on a horizontal plane, are themselves horizontal. Thank you, Mike. So that's the problem. You can't. Well, it's not really a problem. Yeah,
It's not a problem because there's only three straight lines. How fucking difficult can it be?
Point again is that you cannot prove it. A lot of people, you call it the triangle centuries, millennia, thought you could prove the fifth postulate. You call it the triangle axiom. The question is, do we need the enclosure axiom? Yeah, not on the globe hypothesis. I received opinions we don't need it because postulate 1 will do the job for you. And look, Bev, I simply wanted to ask you why you think the postulate's there, and you have explained that. And you have explained that. Not on the globe hypothesis. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. I'm sorry.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Be quiet.
You're just on your own.
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm sure there are better people back at the other place, the blue place, who can prove this. And we're happy to talk to you.
No logic, no wisdom, no worries.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
You know.
No reason, no logic, no answers to questions.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
You know. That I hold to be a self-evident.
It's a self-evident truth of reality that all triangles, in reality, have 180 or the sum of two right angles.
Be quiet. Not on the globe. Well, it's an assumption. For fuck's sake.
It's not an assumption, is it?
I'm sorry. For Euclid, it was an assumption because he knew he could prove it. There was a huge debate which went on for centuries. You call it the triangle axiom.
What, that you couldn't prove that triangles have 180
They tried.
degrees?
They thought there was a question: is the fifth postulate? You call it the triangle axiom. Triangle axiom. Is it self-evident or not? Huge debate.
Weird times, buddy.
Thank you, Mike.
Weird times, buddy. You've brought an argument into a group of people that aren't ready for it.
Be quiet. You can't. You cannot. Euclidean geometry. You call it the triangle axiom. It does not follow. It doesn't work. Not on the globe. I don't need it as an assumption because we can prove it. You can prove it from the first postulate. For fuck's sake. Horizontal lines can easily not be. You can just, as I suggested, you just sort of get a horizontal plane. Right? Thank you, Mike. You put two crossing lines on them, and by definition, any two lines, straight lines on a horizontal plane, are themselves horizontal. For fuck's sake, I'm sorry.
You don't understand.
Well, that I hold to be a self-evident truth. For fuck's
You
sake.
don't understand.
If you could prove it, it wouldn't be a postulate,
It's
would it?
not my problem if you don't want to learn. You're just on your own.
You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah, because he's got
Yeah.
just about a triangle, yeah.
The question is, why did Euclid include that axiom? You call it the triangle. That's postulate or axiom. Why did he include that at all? Thank you, Mike.
Because it sort of shows that triangles have 180 degrees, right? Or the sum of two right angles.
But not on the globe. So
Eight
you're
is
saying,
changed to
for fuck's sake,
180.
how does it show? How does it show that? Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you can prove that, but why did he include that? Be quiet. If you can
Oh, you can prove it.
you call it the triangle axiom. If you can prove that triangles have the sum of the angles is two right angles, why would you need postulate? That's my question. I will not verbally disagree with it. What goes on in my own head is my own business. I do not believe that. Be quiet.
You don't understand.
You call it the triangle axiom. For fuck's sake, I'm sorry.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. You're just on your own.
Yourself, don't tell me to be quiet.
You have a horizontal plane, and any straight line not
drawn
on the globe must itself be horizontal. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. Yeah, not on the globe hypothesis. I was temporarily agreeing.
Right, so you've managed to confuse a lot of people within that argument.
I was temporarily agreeing.
Because like you weren't trying to say that all horizontals are not parallel because you can draw
Not on the
cross
globe.
on a piece of paper, are you?
Thank you, Mike.
That wasn't the argument.
Not on the globe.
Because some people have took it as though that is.
For fuck's sake. Separate discussion.
Yeah.
Happy to talk about that one day.
Yourself, don't tell me to be quiet.
Point again is that you cannot prove it. A lot of people, you call it the triangle axiom. Centuries, millennia, thought you could prove the fifth postulate. You call it the triangle axiom from the preceding thought. Be quiet. I was temporarily agreeing. Not on the globe. You call it the triangle axiom. Not on the globe.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Be quiet.
You're just on your own.
Well, that I hold to be a self-evident truth. For fuck's sake, I'm sorry.
No reason, no logic, no
Be quiet.
wisdom, no worries.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
Not on the globe, you know.
No reason, no logic, no
quiet.
answers to question.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
Betty, do you believe the water surface is a horizontal plane of reference?
It's a horizontal plane, possibly. Not on the globe. Let's assume
Thank you.
the surface of either swimming pool is a horizontal establishes a horizontal plane of reference, right? Let's assume
Thank you.
the surface of either swimming pool establishes a horizontal plane of reference. That's not a problem. Yeah,
It's
all
not
it
a problem
says-
because there's only 3 straight lines. How fucking difficult can it be? And we are live. Welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, Trivium Day, but it's all rolling into this similar sort of thing, logic. But now we're debunkers. We feel it's necessary that we need to point out the bunk, the nonsense, and that's what we do all the time. Beddy, as you just heard in that intro, Buster, world famous Buster in the background. Was that Rob?
Yep.
That's your favourite, isn't it?
I love that song.
Was it Beddy or just the Buster part?
No, it was a Betty one.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Beddy is the proofless logician. He's going to be debating here this weekend with Mike Jones over, is it rational to, I think he's got belief, but it's like no, really, because, well, I don't know, they'll be debating it. Is it rational to know that level is horizontal and believe that Earth is globe? It's going to be a good one. Right now, today, I know a lot of, I've been upsetting a lot of the flat earthers today. Always telling them that it's not flat really upsets them. I'm pointing out as well, I think this goes for just about everybody, really. Like, when you realise you have no argument for making any sort of case with anything within this arena, people get really upset. And yeah, they don't want to see the things that people do, particularly us. There's a thing that people within this arena, their models, their ideas, the rule book that they're starting off with already has some axioms wrote in it, but those axioms are just rules that they're living by. They're not necessarily axioms in the true sense. They're just rules. It's part of the rules that you get given. And within this arena, you get given a lot of rules that you sort of accept and go along with an argument. You are led to assume certain things about certain things. We know, I think we've been talking about it just recently. There's no arguments within this arena, and we have developed arguments through logic. They're very simple. They're not super difficult. They are like fundamental basics of this arena. Like, but this arena is the arena of life, being able to communicate with other people. How do you go forwards? And what are we doing here? What's the whole point and the purpose of it? Well, for me, it's to be able to communicate with people. That's all I'm after. It seems it gets harder and harder the more you refine your ability to talk to people. So I'm going to go over it's sort of an argument was made quite a long ago when we first started. I mean, like, my journey as in everybody else's journey started way before. But I'm particularly talking about the part where I came into this arena. Now, everybody knows that, I was on Twitter, and that was Fight the Flat Earth, and they were doing whatever they did. So there was, like, some of the worst trolls, like, much worse than you see in this arena. Well, I'm saying it that. I mean, the people in this arena probably are the ones from Twitter. Some people may have even come here, followed me from Twitter. I don't know. But this troll group is going on around us always. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when I came into this arena and I met like Emma, Spot On, Redmond, Turn Up. I'm trying to think of other people who were here around that time, but I don't think there were many others that I can consider that were, people, real people. And that was a turning point for me. All the way back then, we realised that, you're just a general nobody. We're all people who are inexperienced in whatever it is we're doing. And the only way you get that experience is to communicate with each other. So way back then, we realised that...
I'm very experienced.
Within this arena, your rule book has definitely been written then. Yeah.
Yeah, I have my own set of rules.
Yeah,
Yes.
we know. There's we call them dog whistles or
Yeah,
whatever,
sorry, I
right?
didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of what we're talking about. This arena and the people within this arena, particularly the people that I met at that beginning time. We realised that we are nobodies. So whatever we do, we're doing it for ourselves. We're not doing it for any other people. We're not doing it for a group. Nobody's putting a Superman cape on to help other people or whatever. You can only do this for yourself. And that simple way of providing yourself an argument and a proof is all we've been doing, really. But we've mainly just been living as we're going along. And the arguments that we've developed, they're ours. I mean, anybody can come in. There's a lot of people that have been in and out of this Discord server. And it's, well, it's pretty simple. The argument that we have and the arguments that we bring are as basic as they could ever be. That's the idea of them. The idea is to simplify everything right down to first principles. And I think that's what we've done with some very simple arguments. Now, it's not nice to push these arguments on other people because I've noticed that most people don't even know what an argument is. The modern day debate, and say that frantic bunny is around the debate. In fact, modern day actually should go to Express. Oh, sorry, just a minute. I've got a phone call. Somebody else, please.
Oh, sounds like Bev's got a phone call.
I was just gonna say I don't really know what you want me to help with. I can't talk really. I got a lot of work to do here. But if Bev could show my camera, I can show you guys what I'm working on.
I'm not sure he'd be paying attention.
No, probably not. So we can just talk about it.
Go on then. What are you working on?
I posted a picture earlier. Good. Isolate some batteries.
Okay,
I'll
I'm
be
back.
right back.
Thank you very much.
That's all right.
I did my best.
Where was I? Oh, yeah, talking about you lot, wasn't I? Yeah, so we decided that there was a point that we had to get across, but the only way we could do it was to get it to ourselves. And I believe we've refined an argument to a point now where it's so simple. It can be given to anybody, really easy. But there does need a communication to go with it because there's obvious, there's a fighting that occurs within the mind because that's what an argument is. An argument is a proposal of two statements that causes a reaction in your mind for you to place pieces together like a jigsaw puzzle to come to a conclusion. And the fight is with the rebuttal to the argument. But if the argument's prepared so well that there is no rebuttal, then it obviously becomes difficult because some people may require the argument to not be true. But obviously, if the argument states that it is true, then there's a conflict. And it all started quite a long time ago when we realized that there's a contradiction that occurs when you introduce a reality, a practical reality, to a model thinking. So most people, and in fact, not most people, everyone is guided by a model that they have. They've been given from childhood. It's nobody's fault. But the contradictions that are given with certain models come with consequences. And these consequences are only revealed when the contradiction is revealed. So I got reminded today by I don't know, Logos handed me, I can't even remember why, but I found a video we're going to go over. Now, this is a video from a channel. Let me get for this for you guys. You all right with that? Yeah. Let me get it over here. Would you measure the... Oh, was a little bit too soon. I don't know where that little box has come from. Where is that? I don't know what that's doing there. Let me just... Sorry about this. They're all shut off. I don't know. I've got like a little box in the top left-hand corner. There you go. That got rid of it. Right. So this is a little known channel. Maybe known to a few people around here. He hasn't got many subs, so give him a follow. It's a guy called Doofus Manfred. He's only got 45 subs. I'm not one of them. And this is a video that he did November 6th, 2020. And it says, Bev, brackets, try thinking, and domesticated primate, shown here as Peach's Chorabate, have been busy preaching, brackets, because that's all they've done so far for months, close brackets. That level is horizontal. Their problems don't stop there, he says. And then he's got Gem Panda's Discord, Gem Panda's live stream. And then, you know, there's not many comments because there's not a lot of people that know about him. So, it's 11 minutes. And this is pretty relevant for what we're talking about at the minute. Because this is the Rumpus poll. It's 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Okay, here we go. Where would you measure the angular difference between the horizontals that are intersecting?
At their point of intersection?
Yeah. So the angle between a horizontal at that point, what would it be? The angle between the two horizontals,
that's a full question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing what you know about geometry, you actually think that's a complete question.
Yeah.
I know the answer. Yeah. It'll be a whole number. It'll be a whole number. What do I win?
That's Nidhug. and the gruff voiced one is a guy called Curved Water, I think he goes by the name of, over at Gem Pandas. You'll never see him anywhere else, and in order to talk to any of these people, some of them, you'll have to go into Gem Pandas Discord to be able to talk to. It's like a safe space for the seriously model afflicted, as you'll hear.
Go on. What would be the angular change or difference between the two horizontals at the point that they intersect?
It'll be a whole number. You haven't given me any angle measurement, so all I can do is be vague. A whole number, though.
Bev, what is the distance? What's the size of this triangle or whatever that's being created here? The 2 points.
No, it's just
where
two
they
horizontals.
Are horizontal.
Yeah.
Where the planes are horizontal.
Yeah.
You would probably need the level of each of those, the altitude or elevation, and the distance from those, and you can probably calculate it from that.
So there you go. What you need is the elevation or the altitude of your 2 points, and also the distance between them. I don't know whether you've heard Advanced Simplicity, the new song with Emma. Please listen to it. It's on YouTube. Could do with a few more views. But again, you'll find that it's the basis of most of these arguments. 2 points, equal altitude, straight line distance between them. It's a very common theme. So that's where the enthymeme that Emma brings in the Buster song is that's where it is. That's the starting base, and that's where Curved, quite rightly so, always starts off. You want to start off with your basis, your foundations, so you know where you're starting from. Here we go.
There is a more general answer.
What would you think that would be?
There is a more general answer. If you have...
This is Doofus Manfred coming in now. Or maybe Jeff.
Two level references.
Is that Jeff?
No. If you have two level references...
Sounds like Jeff.
It's not. If you have two level references taken at two different points...
Like Jeff.
Yeah.
That is
Shut up, you idiots! Does sound like Jeff, though, doesn't it? I mean, come on. That sounds like Jeff. You guys know Jeff, right? Doesn't he sound like Jeff? Can't help but pointing these things out.
Go ahead.
I can't remember.
If you have two level references at two different points, and those two level references intersect somewhere, the angle between those two level references will be 180 degrees minus the angle difference on the surface of that at the spherical surface.
Okay, so it's a 180 minus this angle, says Doofus. He might put a picture up in a bit.
So you take the bottom angle, do you, not the top angle?
Doofus.
Yeah.
Do I need to draw a picture, though?
Take the yeah, go on, please. And show us how to...
Always. The answer to that one is always. Yes, please. Please draw away. They don't know the secret of Imaginometry is to never depict it on paper, because obviously it turns into Euclidean. So the secret number one mistake, I think, possibly, is drawing a picture.
To make
you know what right
difference between
triangles
two
are, Bev?
horizontal.
I mean,
there you go. Everyone see that? And he's put here, as always, right, a equipotential angle of adjustment at the centre, and he's got this angle here. He's gone for the large angle of the equipotential triangle. He's not closed the equipotential triangle off. But
It's gone for the big angle there at the top. So that angle is 180 degrees minus the equipotential angle of adjustment. Make note, because this was done over 2.5 years ago by a guy, sounds like Jeff, but you know, he goes by the name of Doofus Manfred. And this is his video. You should give him, you know, give him a thumbs up. This picture, he's put it in as a break. Okay, so you say that horizontals intersect at a midpoint in between wherever you're measuring the thing from, right?
I've got your picture for you, Bev.
There you go. So at the midpoint is where the intersection of two horizontals is. Always. At the midpoint of your, you know, your A and your B, that straight line. Well, the intersection of the two horizontals is at the midpoint. Right?
Bev.
Of course.
Hey, guys. Yeah? Is that what you're saying? That horizontals intersect at a midpoint?
Look at the picture and see if that's what he's saying.
Yes, that is what we're saying. Yes.
Nice.
And
Or
even
that's
on
what
a
they're
flat
saying,
Earth,
that's
they
their
would
argument.
intersect.
Even on a flat Earth, they would intersect, says... I don't know. Do you want to go back? See who that is? Because you've got Mayock man here. It's a midpoint.
Look at the picture and see if that's what he's saying.
Yes, that is what we're saying. Yes.
Nice.
And
Or
even
that's
on
what
a
they're
flat
saying,
Earth,
that's
they
their
would
argument.
intersect.
That's Magnetar is saying that even on a flat Earth, the horizontals would intersect. Like a farmer's boy shouting it from the outside.
Intersect.
Horizontals would intersect. I'd say they never intersect.
Well,
They're
you'd be wrong.
always
At what
parallel with the horizon. Horizontal
Yeah, but then
is parallel
you'd
with the
be
horizon.
wrong.
See, it's a pretty old saying that, you know, I've been saying it for quite a while. That all horizontals are parallel with the plane of the horizon. It's sort of definitional, but it's built into an argument as well. The argument. You can't have something that's parallel to something intersect with itself. That's ridiculous.
Well, maybe that.
Listen, every time you
That's
do your
interesting.
whiteboard demos, Bev, you need to draw out both models. The flat model that you're drawing and the globe model.
What? See, this is another one. I had a George Nutsack, God rest his soul, used to say the same thing. It's a requirement of anybody within this arena that you structure two models, because they get really upset. Obviously, if you just think about reality and say sod your models, I'm just talking about reality, then they get really upset, because obviously it's a battle of the models and they don't really want to hear about reality and, you know, the fact that there isn't two models. In reality, there's only reality, unfortunately, right? But for this arena, there has to be two, and they're competing. And you could say that in the middle somewhere there is reality, but these guys don't like that place. They like to stay in their own fields. The model, they stick with that. That's where we are. We're at this place within this arena, trying to talk to people about reality, as always. And people within this arena have a rule book, and it states that it's either flat or globe. They don't want to know about reality, and they want you to choose either one of these, like the false dichotomy. And if you don't choose it, Well, you just stick with reality and say statements in reality. This is what occurs. Why?
You need to do
I just do reality, dude. That's all I do.
No,
Does your
that's not
test,
science.
Bev,
You need to have it to
Just
the
do
day.
reality. He's put there. Bev isn't interested in testing if the Earth is a globe. It is a globe. Everybody knows it's a globe. So why would Bev be interested? I mean, who is interested in testing whether the Earth's a globe? Everybody knows it's a globe. You taught it as a child. I don't know what's up with them, these people. Look, he's put a really sad face here on this thing. Like, oh, Bev isn't interested in testing it. Why would anybody be interested in testing that? We're here to find proofs within reality and arguments to use in reality, to have discussions in reality. Why would anybody be wanting to test if the Earth's a globe? It's ridiculous. But I mean, this is Doofus Manfred, and he is just, well, I mean, he was starting out on his video thing 2 years ago. I think he's doing all right.
That you can't
It's
have
all right.
straight lines on a globe. You're right. You can't have straight lines on a globe, but you can have one straight line on a globe. The plumb line.
On a
That's the
on a
only
sphere.
straight line
There's a problem, man. I thought you
One
had.
sec, guys. I just want to get one point in quickly, if I may.
It's a bit of a shit show over there.
The question I wanted to ask Bev: does your test assume that plumb lines are parallel?
No, it's just the horizontal. That's all we're bothered about.
No. But how are you measuring the horizontal?
With surveying tools at auto level.
Yeah. How
and,
and are you taking into the fact that you're using a plumb line to level your instruments, aren't you?
That's down to the surveyors.
No.
That's foolish decisions asking us whether we're going to use a plumb line to level our equipment. Now, you might find people doing this. They're attempting to confuse you, I think, because the only opposition to that is that he's confused himself and believes that you level tools with a plumb line. Because a plumb line is for making sure that things are plumb. And a level is a tool for making sure that things are level. You do not need one of the tools for the other one. They're completely separate, independent. They just happen to be perpendicular to each other, but they're not needed for each other. I mean, everybody knows it. I think perhaps people don't know this. Maybe. I don't know. No? Who cares? Who knows?
One comment, if
yes, you do.
Sorry.
If you will. This Doofus said, or maybe someone else, that they want that you are not willing to test it, but testing it, this globe model, it is proving it, and they say they are trying to prove it, starting from the model, as you said, that George said that you have to take into consideration this model.
Mm-hmm.
But in argumentation, if you start from model, you cannot prove the model because this is just circular reasoning. So you cannot use circular reasoning to prove the model. If you start from model, model has to be proven. So it cannot be in your first premise. And if they have this model in first premise, it means that they cannot have model in conclusion, because that would create circular reasoning. But they insist that you or they should do that. It's just nonsense.
It's an axiom, right? I mean, I heard it earlier. You know, the axiom that level is horizontal. You know, it's taken as a granted, right?
Yeah.
just the model is based right into the axiom. It's never needed to be proved because it's just placed as an axiom to start off with. It's a massive mistake, but around this arena, that's the easiest way to have an argument, is to state an axiom that you've placed at the, well, within the rule book of your own model.
Yes, but if you are saying that a level is horizontal, this is statement. And this statement can be undermined, let's say. But until it is not refuted, it is a statement, and it has to be considered as true statement. But this statement can be used as premise in argumentation, and the conclusion from that argumentation cannot be that level is horizontal, because that would be circular reasoning. So if you start from a statement that level is horizontal, it means obviously that in conclusion you cannot have this statement, because it would be circular reasoning. But they are doing that. They are trying to prove globe. So conclusion is this globe, and they insist to start from this globe. So in fact,
I don't think they are trying to prove globe, right? They know there are no proofs within modern science, new modern science.
Okay, they use the word test, but I think that testing is like proving or making something evident. So you cannot, anyway, start from globe to conclude with globe, or whatever. It doesn't mean that it considers only globe. Any statement cannot be circular reasoning, because it cannot prove anything. So it doesn't matter if it is about globe, flat earth, or even level is horizontal. If you use premise in first premise and in conclusion, the statement is the same, it means that you didn't prove anything because you created circular reasoning. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Are we ready to go on?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Who said that?
How are you going
Your
to
auto
level?
level.
I've got an
Your
auto level.
Your auto
I don't have
level's
never
using
used It says Bev is purposely being obtuse here. Check this out. It's a running commentary in words. Okay, so let's check out the Bev. We got to turn up. Why'd you gotta be so obtuse?
It's a plumb line. I never use a plumb line.
The bubble in an auto level is a reference to plumb.
What he's doing here is saying that I'm being obtuse when I'm not agreeing with him, really. The bubble in an auto level is plumb. Because that to me is a fucking ridiculous statement. The bubble in an auto level is there, so you know when the tool is horizontal. Not when it's plumb. Vertical. Crazy.
The auto level establishes a horizontal plane of reference, right?
With respect to plumb.
Okay. It's a horizontal plane of reference.
With respect to plumb.
Of course, it's perpendicular to it. Yes.
So
That's important because horizontal is not the base thing.
So, again, we have to remember that there was a bit flashing up that you're looking for the bit where me, Bev, I'm being obtuse with the statement about an auto level establishing a horizontal plane. Nothing to do with vertical or plumb. No plumb bobs in the vicinity.
Plumb is the base thing that you're starting
They're
from.
perpendicular.
Fine, you call it perpendicular.
That's
You
the
can
same
argue
thing.
about the
Plumb
mechanism.
perpendicular.
It's the
Yes.
same
Hang
thing.
on.
It's the same thing.
Who's that Surveyor guy that just was talking, that if the auto level works off of plumb and we establish a horizontal plane over a mile, then the opposite end of that mile would establish a plumb, and both plumbs would be parallel.
But they're not.
No, they would be, because they're coming off of the same horizontal plane.
Sure, but
You're assuming
then
plumb
the
is
horizontal
parallel
plane
everywhere.
wouldn't.
Yeah,
No, we're not
That's an
assuming
assumption.
anything.
Horizontal plane wouldn't.
It's geometry. Did you not see it?
Oh, that's exactly my point.
It's one plane. You're saying that the two plumbs
You're
at each end of the same plane wouldn't be parallel.
Your assumption is
how
that plumb
retarded
is
are
parallel
you?
everywhere.
How retarded are you? If it's one plane,
So-
one horizontal plane, a plumb at each end,
Yes,
they're going
yes,
to be
please,
parallel.
sure, but
Which is an assumption
it's
that you are making.
So, did you spot the bit where Bev was being obtuse? Or perhaps Doofus Manfred was a little bit being obtuse, because he was saying that the auto level was established by a plumb, yet the horizontal plane that was established by that plumb wouldn't be plumb when it was parallel to all of the other perpendiculars on the horizontal plane that was established by the plumb.
I don't know where he's getting at, because in fact, even if it is a plumb bob, it means that it is perpendicular. So, and perpendicular lines are straight lines. So verticals, by definition, would be parallel to each other on the same horizontal. So, what's the problem?
Yeah, it seems to be that he doesn't understand his own argument, really. It's sort of like you call it a self-refuting argument that he has. But he, model afflicted, he can't see it. Everybody else in that room, 40 people or whatever, they can't see it either. Because they don't want it to be so. They've got a little rule book that they've wrote out for themselves. We're 5 minutes through, and we're still talking about horizontals intersecting.
Geometrical
geometry.
He posted you the thing, bro.
Oh my word, you lot are so retarded.
Yo, you guys know what
He posted your intersecting horizontals, and you don't care about them.
So retarded. It's the same horizontal plane with a plumb at each end.
Sure,
and you
bitches.
think
It's a
they're not
nice
parallel.
assertion, Primate, but you need to demonstrate it in some way, and you haven't.
It's
Yeah,
coming,
and
Jem. Don't you worry.
We're looking forward to it. It's going to
Stop
be
crying,
wonderful.
Jem. It's coming.
Look, why would I
It's a lot-
cry? I've seen what he's going to do. It will establish nothing, and we will
A
just
horizontal
continue to laugh
plane.
at him as we have so far.
He's talking about the realizing Euclid test, that they are literally too scared to see. And the flat earthers too. It's so real, and it's already been done, that, too much. People can do it for themselves. It's very cheap. Very easy to do, but the proof is a mental proof about this sort of thing. All you need to do is sit down and have a short conversation, work you through it, and you could probably design it for yourself. It's very easy. And again here, later, Lemonbird lights the dumpster on fire. Skip. It means Lemonbird came in to help them out.
Can we get back?
It's like, Bev, you're not wanting to accept agreements on what the globe model is.
I
That's
just
very weird.
live in reality. I'll say it again. See, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? You're not wanting to live with the agreeances on what the globe model is. Well, my globe's a real globe. It exists in reality. I live there. That's where I live. In reality. And all of the proofs I find in reality go to prove the globe. Now, that's upsetting that people don't want to hear it. Right? People don't want to hear the proof that it's definitely not flat. I mean, you can observe it, but I mean, don't you want to know the proof to find out that there is definitely a proof that it's not flat? Why don't people want to know these proofs? There are other proofs. You can prove that level is horizontal in reality. Therefore, it puts level being horizontal on the real globe. You have to. There's no other place you can put it. So strange. Everybody lives in reality and everybody knows it's not flat and everybody knows it is globe. They've taught it from childhood. They wouldn't teach lies to children, would they? And since everybody knows it's a globe, then why not, why not go into reality and make some proofs? Why not find some proofs? Why is it people nowadays, modern times, believe there is no proof? Why is that? Is that because other people have already done it? And you just sort of take it from the shadow giants. Yeah, I'll have this. What's that? Well, proof. I don't know. Somebody's blocked. I can see you. You can't be blocked if you're in here. Just live in reality. That's all I deal with.
No. What I'm saying is even just to understand the argument that the globe earthers are making.
Do you think I don't understand it? Do you think I don't understand it?
You
won't draw it out.
do not, because you do not know basic trigonometry. You don't even know basic elementary geometry.
Bev, if you know it so much, model your shit out on the globe since you know it so much.
I've done a proof.
Model your shit on the globe on the whiteboard.
Model it on the globe. They want you to do it on a ball.
Which model?
Pathetic.
Which model? So yeah, I'm in there telling them we've got proofs. Have they seen it? Do you want to talk about it? They say no, model it on a globe. Like Papers just said, you can't start off with the model and end up with the model, because you can't end up with a proof of a model that you start off with. It's ridiculous. Yeah, there are people, I suppose nowadays as well, still around here. There's loads of people walking around lost, not knowing what they're doing. Model, guys.
There's only one.
What? There isn't. There's the Kozlowski nutsack drop, and there's the Kozlowski Bislin hump. Two different models. One drops, the
Those
other
are two
one
formulas
raises.
from the same model. Don't be silly.
No. If you mix them with reality, with a horizontal, you get struggles, don't you?
They're two different formulas on the same model.
So there are two different formulas on the same model now. One that provides a hump, and the other one that provides a drop from each end. But you do, like I said there, you do struggle when you have A to B as your starting line. Because you have to have a hump in the middle and a drop from each end.
Yes, and this is dilemma, because to produce a drop from your position of observation, if you establish, as they say, a horizontal at the point, you have drop in any direction. But if you have from A to B this tangent point, so in between this hump, so your vertical in their model is established in the middle. So at your location, it is not vertical. So they have problem because, or they have established horizontal, horizontal and vertical at their position of observation, or they have not, because this vertical is in the middle between point A and B. So you cannot have both at the same time. And they cannot see that this is contradiction. They cannot have both. But they are happy with both. I don't know why.
Well, they have to have both. They have to have both because the great shadow giants, the ones that are sadly no longer with us, just because they've done a Jesse Kozlowski, have set up two different scenarios. One states that there is a 90-foot hump in the middle, as verified by Blue Marble Science at Lake Rakia. And the other one is a statement said by Jesse Kozlowski that the water level drops down away from the horizontal at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared. They're two contradictory statements, we know. But this is how we are going to prove the dogmatic globe. Because contradictions can only occur on the dogmatic globe. They don't exist in reality. So for contradictions to exist, you have a necessary dogmatic model that requires the contradictions, or it generates the contradictions, and the contradictions being seen is a proof of the dogmatic globe model. It's right there for people to see, but it takes a little bit of logic and understanding how logic works and the formulation of arguments for you to be able to see this. It takes a while for it to become clear. But once you get rid of the daily fog that is around, given to you through the TV media, water, purify your water. Get a water distiller. I should make it a bit more prominent, the link for the water distiller. I'm going to get myself another one. I need two. So, we'll carry on with this. It's not going to be much longer.
Formula, is it?
Yeah.
It's a water level, a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Now, does that water level drop 8 inches over a mile, or is there a hump of 2 inches in the middle?
Don't be silly.
Said don't be silly. It's a tough one like that, isn't it? Does it drop 8 inches, like Jesse Kozlowski said, from the horizontal over a mile, from each end, or is there a measured rise in the centre, as shown by Wallace? A quarter of the rumpus pole, 2 inches. A little short, stubby rumpus pole, inverted and placed right in the centre. Who knows? Still not to this day.
No, that's actually kind of silly. Like it does kind of like
It's a gradual hump, right?
Depends on your perspective.
Depends on your perspective. Well, what if you stood at A and B with an auto level, looking at each other? Well, that's when you get a chance to see a rumpus pole, and obviously the bigger distance. We're talking over a distance of a mile here. Although a mile is okay for anybody if you haven't got great auto levels, and you could imagine a shorter rumpus pole, then you could have an 8-incher over a mile. Or maybe you feel lucky enough to only look at the half mile and spot the rise of the water level in the centre by 2 inches. It's a tough one. Which one you go for? We're going for the rumpus pole. We're going for the full nutsack drop.
How you look at it?
no,
Like
it's
like
like
you can
you-
rotate
it's
the model
different.
and
It's
use
water
it.
level.
For the same
Center
model.
level shit, bro.
It's like, oh, okay, Tokyo seems different from this perspective, therefore fake.
Nah. That's a pretty
It's
bad
my
example.
perspective. You got to ask.
That was a pretty bad example of an argument, wasn't it? Like Tokyo seems something, so therefore fake. I don't think that's what we said. It doesn't really relate at all. But I mean, that is Gem Pandas. That's what you have to look forward to if you ever do go to Gem Pandas.
Ask yourself, is it the hump relative to what?
Well, this is Scott Veach, the son of an astronaut. A real guy. He hangs about in Gem Pandas, I don't think they make a big enough deal of it. He's also published writer for CSI, and I think there's a series ongoing at the minute. So if you want people to make up stories for you, like script writers, you want people to write you a script, over there in Gem Pandas Discord server. Son of an astronaut. So if anybody would know anything, it'd be Scott Veach.
There is
The
no hump
horizontal.
relative to.
Yeah, to the horizontal
Which
that's set by the water level.
No, that would
There's
be
many
a
horizontals.
straight line between each
Okay.
point.
Brilliant. That's straight.
No,
line.
Every point has a
right.
different
There'd be a
horizontal.
hump.
A
There'd be a
level
hump from
straight
A to
line.
C.
A chord, if you will.
Yeah, if you do a
Oh,
chord, there's a hump.
Chord. So there's the chord in between the two. So you've got A and B, and then there's a straight line between those 2 points, like Emma says. They call it a chord, but I mean it's just a straight line.
Compared
So
to a
you
chord,
can win
yeah,
the hump.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. So there's no
Compared
drop.
to the chord.
So there's no
No,
drop
it's
from the horizontal.
It's a
is there
drop.
not?
It's a drop from the perspective of the person. So the drop from one side, there's a hump if you look at it compared to the chord, but it's a drop from from point A on it. For the person standing
have
point
both.
A.
You can't have a hump
Yes,
and
we
a drop
can
at
have
the same
both. Oh my
time.
God.
Yes, they can have both. So you're using the chord, and then you're establishing a different, separate horizontal at A. So you have a baseline, a base of the equipotential triangle, and then the two sides, isosceles. I might show you in a bit. Builds the triangle.
God.
What do you mean? You can?
It's two different perspectives.
Don, I totally get your frustration, said by Doofus Manfred. Because, I mean, he wants both the hump and the double drop from each end for your perspective. I mean, that can be frustrating, right? Wanting both. Being able to have neither. Must be really frustrating for these people.
Man, come on, man. You disingenuous,
it's pretty
man.
simple.
You're assuming the chord
simple.
is parallel with your level reference at your starting point, which it is not.
You've just set the
Well,
chord
the chord-
over the two ends of your levels. That's what you did.
The chord would be parallel with the surface of the Earth at the midpoint of the chord. So,
Okay, so he's got loads of little things. Did you see all of that?
Midpoint.
Yeah,
Midpoint.
this is Scott Veach, I think, talking.
Yes, but he's talking about hump, and of course, nobody is there in the middle. So,
Well, he's talking about the hump in the middle whilst wanting a drop from each end. But that's a bit hard to have if in the middle of each end there's a hump.
yes, because if in the middle is this vertical, which is not the same vertical as each of these points, it is just different. And at this point in the model, vertical has perpendicular, this tangent horizontal, and this tangent horizontal in the middle isn't the same as horizontal at each point A and B.
But there is a
So-
2-inch difference in between the chord and the tangent in the middle. There's a 2-inch rise between those that they say is parallel.
Yes, because it is in the middle, so
Yeah.
it drops from both sides of this middle.
By
But
2
nobody
inches.
is- yeah.
Yet
Yeah.
it drops 8 inches over the whole distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, whilst rising 2 inches to the centre, then dropping 2 inches to the other end. Overall, it drops 8 inches from each end at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Concurrently. Yeah. I mean, like, they can have both. No wonder there's a guy shouting and screaming that he wants to have both. Yes, it's a tough one. I mean, but I can understand. Like, when they say, like, you don't understand. I was like, I really do. I understand. It's the dogmatic structure. This is necessary dogmatism. It has to happen like this. They have to have both. It's stated within the rule book.
The
Over the 2 ends of your levels. That's what you did.
The chord would be.
Look, he's put that thingy face there because he was talking about a chord. So I don't know whether it's a face slap. It's like, why, Scott Veach, why did you say it was a chord? Now we're stuck to a fucking chord as well with a hump in the middle. I don't know why he did that. That's why he's doing this. Scott Veach, doofus is slapping his forehead. I suppose it's better than banging it on a table, isn't it?
This is a requirement of this model. If you are using water level, it means that you are establishing horizontal in the midpoint. So vertical would be perpendicular only in the midpoint in their model, not at your point or other end. No, it cannot be done. So in their model, water level is establishing horizontal and perpendicular to it vertical in the midpoint only, not at your point,
Well,
not at the ends of water level. This is requirement of their model.
Well, like I say, I don't know what really, other than the fact that Jesse Kozlowski has stated that there's a hump in the middle on one model that he made with Walter Bislin. And then the other model he talks about is the one with the drop. So, I mean, coming into this, I was unaware. In fact, I've already proved it to myself that level is indeed horizontal. So I'm fine knowing that. But I wasn't aware of the globe contradictions, right? I wasn't aware of the dogmatism within that structure of the model and the dictatorship that is handed out to the to the flat earthers, the globe earthers. There's not much difference really. There's like dogma in all of it. People are handed these rule books and they assume other people take on certain roles within an argument, a dictated narrative that they have. And
yes, I think that they don't understand the implication of their model because, in fact, in their model, water level is useless. This is what their model dictates. It is useless because it does not establish horizontal plane of reference at the end of the water level. Simple. So it is useless. But still, it is used by surveyors and builders and engineers, whatever.
Well, like Blue Marble says, a level establishes an equal elevation. But also, like Blue Marble says, the dogmatic model states that a horizontal has a change in elevation. And now, I bet there aren't many people that are aware of that fact. And I think that's bad for the, the state of awareness of modern day people, how little they actually know about what goes on in reality. It's sort of like privileged information for you to know this sort of stuff.
But there is another absurdity here, because on their model water level, between 2 points, of course, it is a midpoint. That would be, let's say, this tangent point. And there you can create, in their model, vertical, perpendicular to that line. It means that if you are trying to measure elevation change from your position, from a end of water level, you are going lower and lower because you are higher. The midpoint is this tangent point, so this is the lowest point in the horizontal. So you are at ends of the water level, you are at the highest points of horizontal. So all your calculations are screwed, because you have to subtract from your position, because you are higher, to midpoint, and then again you have to calculate more inches or centimeters, whatever, because you are going higher. To midpoint you are going lower, and from midpoint again you are going higher in their model. This is what water level should do on their model. This is just pure absurdity.
Yeah, I think actually the if level is well structured as a dogmatic model says it is, then the horizontal must react as the formula states. And if level is an equal elevation, then the inverse of the 8 inches per mile squared has to apply to the horizontal. Which is, well, in relation to an elevation profile that everybody knows. That's where Blue Marble got his upwards curving horizontals from. It's a necessity, but it's one of the proofs of the dogmatic globe. Last 2 minutes.
Parallel with the surface of the Earth at the midpoint of the chord. So if you take the chord, find the midpoint, get the perfect.
That's enough of Bev's whatever it is he does. Communicate with people. I guess Doofus Manfred, what Doofus Manfred does is, I don't know. This was 2 years ago. He just records conversations and misrepresents what people say. I'm guessing. A lot of people do.
You guys don't get it. There's no, that doesn't matter if you were fucking, I don't know anybody, the best convincer dude in the world. Okay, these people don't want to be convinced. He wants to be convinced. Do you remember when he asked what is the hydrostatic equilibrium, or what's hydrostatics? Okay, he asked me this yesterday.
Yeah,
He doesn't
and
have a
today
point. He
that
wants
ain't
to.
irrelevant.
Jem got it correctly. He just wanted to attempt to expose something or something like that. But he doesn't have. He has no point to what he's saying. There's no point at all to it.
So you've been exposed more than Mae West.
Oh, yeah, is
I
that
want
right?
Xanac and chemo.
Lemon,
Xanac and
do me a
chemo.
favor. Do me a favor. Fuck yourself, okay? I'm gonna finish talking now.
You too.
Right. So yeah, he went over this with me yesterday. He doesn't have a point to what he's saying. He's just trying to purposely confuse himself and everybody around him. Probably because he is perpetually confused. He wants everybody to be on the same level he's on. No pun intended. Level.
Well, yeah, because he's basically denying everything that has ever been written about anything to do with the shape of anything. I mean, let's face it. You're right. He's a great obfuscator, confuser, obnoxicator.
That's Zanuck there pointing out that I'm confused and I deny anything that's got anything to do with shape. If you believe that, then you will be believing the guy that's been proved to be a liar more times than anyone. That's Zanuck. Literally been approved a liar, but he's a regular in these arenas, talking shit about people. He wasn't brave enough to talk up when we were there. He had to wait until we've gone before Kosho and all of that have to point out that they can't see the point in a conversation about horizontals and pointing out contradictions. I mean, there appears to be no point in pointing out a contradiction to somebody. And that's because there's no logic. Proof, deductive reasoning has been removed from modern scientific times. And that has filtered down into chat rooms that we're all familiar with. There's no proof. Ask anyone. Ask anyone what argument they've got. Make sure you've got an argument yourself. Or if you haven't got an argument, right, go around asking people if they've got an argument. You might be able to find an argument, if you have none yourself, from any one of these debate arenas. You know, finding the best argument around. You know, you might have heard a few. What's the best argument you've personally heard within these arenas? Where did you hear it? How well did it go? How was the story? How was it approached? Yeah, that's right. You haven't. There isn't any. There are only arguments that you can make for yourself. And mainly, they're the best ones because they're the ones that you can't solve. So you approach an argument and offer it to somebody else. See if somebody else can solve it. It isn't as easy to make a logical argument, logical statement. It still isn't. You need to be researched into an arena to design an argument that's good enough. But you also need to be keyed up by somebody into the necessity for you to make an argument. There is no reason for making an argument out of the blue. But making an argument to prove a point or to help prove a point, to inject a thought into somebody's mind, maybe they've never thought of. That's what arguments are there for. To induce thought processes and communication. How can you discuss the argument?
Yes, WK, we are. There are trolls everywhere. This isn't just relevant to this particular arena. This is relevant to everyone. Everywhere. All groups, all small groups, or probably large groups. But the mindset would be the same. Once you develop into something, you get given a rule book. That rule book generates your thoughts and the processes that you have when you go into a conversation with people. What's that conversation going to be about? In this arena, it's all about a model. But there's no arguments. Nobody knows anything about the model. They just talk about the not that, which is a really backwards way of thinking and going around this. Let me put it back onto the Discord. I think have we got some new people in the chat? Oh. Somebody making triangles from angles. There's a guy who talks about measuring an angle on the top of a mountain. He's just drawn a triangle. Look at that. Let me get this thing over. Can everybody see the chat?
Yes, blue triangle. Yes. So, okay. We have triangle here.
Yeah, he's got the observer, Z, and a location beneath the star. So he's got X is a star, and Y is a direct vertical. Like if you were to hang a plumb bob from the star,
yeah,
then it would point right at Y. Now, you've got an observer at Z. So, I mean, obviously, that's a right-angled triangle. Because you would definitely know, because, I mean, this is in reality, right? You definitely know that Z was at the same elevation. That would definitely have been measured. That's, is that 10th man? Ram Shatu? Is that who you are, 10th man? Jolly good. Always measuring angles and drawing triangles. 3 points. He's got 3 points. 2 known angles. Which ones? And a known distance. That's fantastic, isn't it? All from measuring an angle with a sextant, or is he just actually measured those? Nice attempt. It's a shit argument. Nobody ever told him. Sorry to say this, but yeah. You can do fuck all with an angle. Or you could just draw a triangle on a piece of paper.
And by the way, even if you have triangle like this, proportional, it would be, you can make it bigger and proportional, and still you don't know distances. You can't just make it bigger, mathematically bigger, so it would be proportional. This is how we create similar figures. So you can create similar triangle, bigger, and it would keep same angles, but you still don't know distances. You just only know that you are making this triangle bigger by proportionality, but still, if you don't know distance, you cannot say how big this triangle is in meters or kilometers or whatever. You have to have the distance measured. So if he's saying that this distance as at baseline is known, but this is distance that would be searched for. We are looking for this distance between Z and Y. So if we know this distance, so what's the point of looking for that distance? But if we don't know this distance, so we cannot know distance, other distances. So we cannot, we have triangle, but we still don't know how big this triangle is. This is just imagined triangle. We don't know real distances, real distances, yes, in hypotenuse and in two baselines or adjacent lines. We don't know that. So this is useless. We can know all angles in this triangle, and it will give us nothing.
Well, seems like he's from Twitter. So welcome. But I mean, if you come in here with that as an argument, location in Earth directly under star. What? Directly under a star. That's fantastic.
Yes, this is a zenith of the star. So yes, it can be observed. Yes, I think that astronomers are doing that for, let's say, centuries. So they can establish that this star is at zenith at this time here, at this location. It can be established, I guess.
Can you see the argument? I have the star. Point 1. He has it. The observer. Point 2. And the location in Earth directly under the star. He's the observer, obviously, and he has the star location at a point, and he has the point directly under the star. All from the observer position. He has all 3 points. I mean, he has nothing. He has an observer looking at a light in the sky, imagining somewhere on the ground, somewhere underneath the star.
No, he cannot establish this zenith at observer Z. No, has to be known from elsewhere. For example, from some astrolabe or whatever, this location. So it has to be given. So this distance has to be given first. Distance between Z and Y has to be given beforehand.
Right, well, he also says 3 points of a triangle, right? He says, I can find the distance between observer and the location in Earth under the star. One distance. And on your flat planet, I don't know who he's talking to, horizontal is perpendicular to vertical. So, right-angled triangle. No. Horizontal being perpendicular to vertical forms 4 right angles. It doesn't form a triangle. It's just a non sequitur that. And then he says, one of those things must be untrue. Which is it? Does anybody want to
Yes, I can say that this word distance is untrue. Yeah.
I'd say the statement that he says, I can find the distance between observer and the location in Earth under the star, one distance. That's the part that is definitely untrue.
Yes. So this distance, yes, because this is distance that it is desired to know. So you cannot have that from observer at point Z. You have to have this already given. So it's just nonsense. Because from observer at point Z, you cannot, shooting at the star, you cannot establish distance from Z to Y. Just impossible. Impossible.
Here we go. Reply and paste. There you go. Ad hom is against the person. It's where you're attacking the person instead of the argument they're making. For example, he pointed out and saying attack me whilst ignoring is pretty much textbook ad hom. Well, I've done it there. Can everyone see that? That is not an ad hom. That's the part where we say which part is untrue. It's there. It's underlined. That's the untruth. So, welcome. If anybody else has got any arguments they would like to bring, we will help you out. If you want to come and have a discussion about it, whether you maybe disagree, bring your arguments. Always welcome to see those.
Yes, that statement is untrue. So this distance between Z and Y has to be already known, or it is unknown, and by shooting the star with a sextant or whatever, you cannot establish this distance. It's just impossible. Or you have distance to the star already given. Something has to be given at the start. You cannot start just with an angle because you cannot establish any distances.
Well, that's where you're wrong. Jesse Gordon has measured an angle. Yes, it may be from a tool that hasn't been calibrated, but he has measured an angle. And from that angle, he's measured 7 inches per mile squared. So don't be saying you can't. Nathan Oakley, right? Nathan Oakley named an angle. Well, Jesse Gordon has falsified Robotham numbers with an angle. So don't be saying you can't do anything with an angle.
Okay, so I am not as genius as him. So
I know.
I'm sorry.
Yep. I mean, like, you always thought that, like, with an angle, you might be able to do something. But, I mean, to get a formula from an angle, 7 inches per mile squared. It's like, you know, the leaps and bounds that have been made in modern day mathematics. Somehow, you know, like, it would be good if you could get chance to talk to these people. But, you know, once they get to that level, like, it's like an Einstein sort of thing. It gets hard for you to be able to communicate, or I think it gets hard for them to be able to communicate with normal people. Because they seem to just go into the text chat. You know, they do prefer slander as well at that sort of time. Jesse Gordon, particularly. Not talking to people and not answering your things. Misrepresenting people. It's all good, isn't it? Is he making an argument? I mean, we have to... Is he talking to us? Is he at least listening to the live stream? Because it would be really annoying if we had somebody in the chat that wasn't actually listening to the stream and saying that he's making arguments, which he just isn't.
I'm not sure, but
somebody
maybe
we need to know about his arguments.
I have impression that he thinks that we maybe are ad homing him somehow, instead of pointing out, let's say, about talking about his argument. But we are just refuting his argument, if it is any argument here. So we are refuting this triangle, that you can make this triangle bigger and bigger, and then you can have any distances within the same set of angles. You have the same angles, and you can produce any triangle at any distance, or you can produce larger or smaller triangles with the same angles. So it cannot give you, even knowing 3 angles, it will not give you distance. Sorry.
It's an attack. Descending into attacks. Wow. That's snowflake defense. Pointing out that he hasn't got any arguments.
Maybe he's learning sophistry or logic, maybe. I don't
think so. Yeah, it's a...
He's trying maybe his best.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know whether it's worth engaging with people like this. I don't know what we're meant to be. I just don't know.
He's writing, but that's not wrong. You can calculate your distance. Okay.
Well, Brad, the science guy, is coming to help him.
It doesn't matter what you can calculate. You can calculate anything you want.
So yes, welcome. Like we say, everybody, come on in. You think you can have an argument? Brad, the science guy, keeps posting Jesse Kozlowski video, but unfortunately, We've already debunked that. And it would be helpful if Jesse Kozlowski could come over here. So there's a thing there. Let's just take the title, Jesse Kozlowski. It's called Perfectly Flat Level Lake. And he's talking about a lake from A to B. And as we know, Jesse Kozlowski has modelled the hump within Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. So he's modelled it, claimed to have measured it. And now he also states that the water level drops away from the horizontal. So you've got a perfectly flat level lake titled within Jesse Kozlowski's video. And we know that Jesse Kozlowski is a diletheist that has both the double drop and the hump. Is it any wonder that Jesse Kozlowski is not around anymore to answer any questions about his diletheism?
And by the way, he has drop and hump on perfectly flat level lake.
Yes.
This is just another.
It's a triletheism,
absurdity.
isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's like it goes a little bit further. 3 different. If you thought you were confused about the globe, the dogmatic globe, then wait until you meet Jesse Kozlowski.
Maybe it is just a blinking eye to flat earthers because, you know, on the globe you can have hump and drop, but maybe also on flat Earth you can also have hump and drop. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got some. Copy image. These are all pictures from Jesse Kozlowski. Look, he's put a ruler at the side of his thing there. I mean, isn't that a normal thing?
Yeah, it's like slightly curving and not vertical, but
Well, yeah,
nearly
but
vertical.
I mean, yeah, look, I mean, it obviously doesn't have to be vertical. I mean, why would you possibly want it to be vertical? I mean, you're only measuring. You're only putting it at the side of your theodolite, aren't you? Look, here's a few more. Look, there's another one. See, look at the lean on that. You can have it at whatever lean you want. The image, yeah, look. Take a picture of your theodolite. Looking at the water. About 4 foot in front of you. Obviously makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, nothing says I'm a globe surveyor like you setting it up at the side of a lake looking at the water. Look, and he even measures, look, puts the thing at the side of his see that? In fact, I'll close that off, then you can see the screen a bit better. Stop streaming. So he measures the height of his target. Picture of there's Jesse Kozlowski in the mirror. He's a real person, like not just a legend, right? Not just a shadow giant. He's a real person. He's never coming back around. Look, see that? Obviously not perpendicular to the plane of the horizon, so nowhere near. Like you don't trust your eyes, but that's definitely not vertical. And then this is some of the best stuff. Oh, that's all. Oh, what the? There we go. Copy image. This is something that obviously, if you were going to go to the side of a lake to do perfectly flat lakes, then what you do is you put some nails in the ground, and then you put a spirit level to make sure that the nails are level. I mean, you ask yourself, geodetic surveyors, ask yourself who walks around with like a cheap builder's level, one of those like cheapy aluminium ones. They're like 50p levels for the you know, the home use. Jesse Kozlowski does that. That's how you work the and it's, I mean, it's not just one. Look, he does it multiple times. Not just one. You've got to do this on a few nails when you're there. Oh, come on. There you go, another one. And if you wanted to know, not just good at measuring you know, the heights of your auto level, also the heights of nails from pebbles at the side of the lake. Is it any wonder why Jesse Kozlowski's not around anymore? They need people like Brad the Science Guy to come and do that. Look at that. It's not often you see a geodetic surveyor using a wooden rule to measure the height of a nail at the side of a lake. Is it? Perfectly flat lake, it's called. That one. Flat earth proof. Perfectly flat level lake. Looks like an auto level and a theodolite. Where? I don't think so, Brad. There's no auto levels there, mate. But hey, if that's what they've told you, Brad, you don't believe us. You stick with your what they've told you about Jesse Kozlowski, because obviously you've never talked to Jesse Kozlowski, have you, Brad? It's a shame he's not around anymore, because then at least somebody who's told these fooled them. I think he's Jesse Kozlowski may have told them a few little lies, you know, white lies, in order to aid their belief of the model, obviously. That, I mean, it may be a valid procedure to bang nails at the side of lakes, put spirit levels on top of them. I'm not aware of it, but I'm not a globe geodetic surveyor. In fact, I don't think anybody is. I don't even think Jesse Kozlowski is. I think Jesse Kozlowski's a character that came in to play an acting role, and now he's gone. He's never going to come back. His character has been ended, descripted, whatever it is for that, you know, like when somebody gets wrote out of the script. That's what's happened. The Jesse Kozlowski character is no longer with us, and not in the George Hnutzak sense, God rest his soul. But I do believe, at least Blue Marble says, he talks to Jesse Kozlowski. So I don't think Jesse's, you know, like truly out, just the actual character
that's done all of this sort of stuff. But thanks for bringing that in, Brad. Showing us that, you know.
So you're thinking it's an exit stage left instead of an exit stage right sort of situation?
Well, Jesse Kozlowski, I know for a fact, was pretty right wing. I don't personally think that character could ever have survived within the modern day Snowflake Blue Marble Science Arena.
Oh no, I was talking about that thing. Like, if you ever see before, like people on a stage where they have like a wooden hook that pulls the person off. Yeah. Was he like? Is that what happened? Did they have a hook and they pulled him off stage right, or did he just walk off the stage, exit stage left?
Well, he said that one of the last things I can remember him saying was that the water level drops from the horizontal. And oh yes, it's measurable. Well, at that point, what are you meant to do? Like, you can't measure it, but you've said that you can. So you just can't stick around. You've just got to go. That's what happens. When you say some really stupid shit that you've got no chance of backing up, you just disappear, you fade away. Whether you were told to or whether you just decide to do it yourself. I'm out of here. I've done my job. Don't need to do anything else. I'm out of here. And that's what's happened to Jesse Kozlowski. And the guy that probably doesn't live in Maine, who sounds an awful lot like Doofus Manfred. And he disappeared around about the same sort of time that Doofus Manfred appeared, strangely enough. That may have been why we were saying it doesn't half sound like Jeff. But, you know, shadow giants within this arena, you know how it goes. Right, let me get some other... yeah. I've been listening to another... Let me check this. I mean, it doesn't really go on. Did I ever show you guys the Rumpus one? Did we listen to that? I'm not too sure. Let me just check. Ruhif side angle theorem. Did we go over that? Did we? Can you guys remember that? Or have I just been listening to it? I might have been listening to it and never actually had a chance to go over it.
Photograph. I'm stuck working. Sorry, I can't be off mute.
No problem. Did we do photogrammetry with Ruhif? I think we might have done. Might be worth pointing out again, though. Oh, come on. Sorry. My displays have all messed up. Okay. And let you guys see it. because all of these arguments are all coming together, all of the things that we've been discussing, all of the little pieces. No, Ruhif was around early in the morning, Gadget. We were talking to him the other day. Buster was talking to him about verticals. So yeah, Ruhif still is around. Let us know if you've heard this, but let's.
Photogrammetry, there you go.
What did you measure? The line?
I got the angular size of the mountain and represented it as pixels.
Where did you measure? Where did you measure that from?
What do you mean? What a measure? As in, I've got the height of the mountain and the distance of the mountain.
The measurement for the angle.
Yeah, someone has measured the height of the mountain, right? That's on Google, and I got the distance to it, probably also from Google. And therefore, I have an angular size.
Okay, so you found a picture on Google, I take it.
Somewhere, yep.
And then you got some
That's the world
measurements that somebody else has made from Google.
I would have measured it.
Translated that into an angle. Then you changed that angle into a straight line, and then drew the straight line on the picture.
Yep. That's where 0 meters above sea level is.
And that is what are we calling that? Are you calling that photogrammetry?
Yes.
Ruhifs. So did you get that? I'm pretty sure we've been over this, haven't we? Ruhif got a picture off the internet. Use Google to find the height of the observer. Use Google to find the distance to the mountain in the distance. And then worked out the angle at the observer. And then use that angle to find the length of the line, the opposite side to that angle. And then draw that on the picture. Geometry, because I don't think that's not the real way of doing it, is it?
I think it is.
That's why we call it Ruhifs.
Well, you can call it that. You can call rankings
sure
historic
we can
as
call
well.
it with something better than that, though.
I'm sure you will call it something better.
Drawing
sure you
lines
will.
on pictures sounds much better.
Yeah.
Can you team up with Jose and get a crayon? He's got a YouTube video with some guy that's been debunked as a surveyor. He's got a surveyor in his name on his YouTube channel.
You can, I guess, draw a flat plane between the 2 points of a water level, but that won't be a flat horizontal plane to your original location.
So go on, keep saying circle and parabola. Perhaps you might understand that it doesn't work in reality.
Yeah, that's the problem in reality.
The plumb would curve if the horizontal curve. That's just a given.
If you bring the mountain closer, it has to get smaller to maintain the same angular size. That's why the line doesn't change.
Don't take advice from fools. Everything that they say is in vain. Never take advice from fools. We all know what they.
So, pause that. See those windmills there in the picture? You see the way that perspective is occurring in the to the distance. You can see the heights are changing, but the yellow bits at the bottom don't seem to change. There's a compression within them. Well, the distance between those windmills is around about 1 kilometer. So in that space there that you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you could say that there is around about 5 kilometers between where those windmills are. check it for yourself. That particular piece of the North Sea is meant to be one of the biggest producers of wind farm energy. The biggest wind farms anywhere, really, because the amount of wind that there is in the North Sea, the UK, looking out towards Ireland and actually the Isle of Man, that sort of direction over there. Pictures that we did quite a long time ago. My prediction is that picture. Now, you go and get Ranty to do his little dance up to back at Winter Hill and take his picture. Then you can come back and tell me whether I'm right or wrong.
Right, so your prediction is that you won't see Blackpool Tower.
Or what you can do is keep dancing like this and prove me right. Ranty will not go there. Ranty never did go anywhere. Is that what you're going to do when Ranty goes up with his auto level?
I've already calculated that and published my prediction, which you have not. You're a coward.
Never take advice from fools. Everything that they say is in vain. Never take advice from fools. Everything that they do is in vain.
I'm making my prediction on experience, because I've been there. I've looked out with the camera P1000. I've also got experience of an auto level, 32 times scope auto level, and looking at that out of distance. And I've also got experience of actually using the level for the job that it's meant to be done.
That's fantastic.
Multiple levels.
Sounds like you would be the perfect person to make an accurate prediction, right?
Which I have.
Yeah.
I've given you a picture. Much better prediction than anybody else has ever given you.
That's not a prediction. You gave a shit picture on a shit day. That's not a prediction, Bev.
That's a prediction. What the picture is? If you can get Ranty to the top of Winter Hill, that's a prediction. You're the type of picture Ranty will give you.
Take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they say is in vain. Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain.
How do you know the height?
Because it's been fucking measured there. Why are you asking such dishonest questions?
This tool is to create a flat plane at a specific point where you're standing. And to do that, you have to make a correction for the readout of the water levels.
No, I said level is horizontal.
Do you actually think that the side on a triangle opposite the angle is the same thing?
It's the same thing. Yeah.
I got your numbers right here.
Oh, I'm giving you plenty of content for your bullshit, right?
It's just as easy as 1, 2, 3. You have to open your mind.
You can measure shit with it.
Imagination is all you need. Don't take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they say is in vain.
I've proven to myself that those are pictures of curve of Earth.
Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain.
Who else have you told about this? Because I'm going to
Everyone. I've made videos about it, Bev.
Well, it actually has a scientific definition. If you guys did your research, you would know that.
So the top of that red line is the angle to the top of the mountain, and the bottom of that red line is the angle to the bottom. You can measure shit with it.
Everything is relative to you.
The angle that we're representing
Just have to say it in generality.
is the same
Just like those straight lines are curving.
representation as the third side.
Drive down the road, don't you ever swerve.
can measure shit with it.
Never take advice from fools. Everything that they say is in vain.
Oh, I'm giving you plenty of content for your bullshit, right?
Never take advice from fools. Everything that they do is in vain.
I just said I don't know where I got it from, but I know how cameras work, so that's where I got it from. And therefore, you can represent angles with pixels.
Could you draw a picture, draw a line on a picture from an auto level and then reverse engineer an angle out of it?
I can, yeah. Can be done.
I know the game that you're playing.
Is that the Isle of Man in the background?
I know exactly what's on your mind.
Yes, yes it is.
You got your playbook, it's alright. Your model dictates what you will find. And I don't know.
It's a game. I like getting you guys to contradict yourselves.
Where all of this goes. Don't take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they say is in vain.
You can measure shit with it.
Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain.
You cannot
He'll tell you
represent
you
an
can
angle as a line.
Yes, you can. That's what it is. Cameras map angles to pixels.
Vertical height.
Yes, above sea level.
And the distance would be a horizontal distance, right?
Near enough to it, yes.
So that he can be in his comments and his misinformation. So when you know someone on that level and then goes and says, I'm a Glober now. No, this is all a joke to me, and we all know what he's doing, the ones that actually know Ranty, and I'm not having it. I don't like to give him any attention, just like he did a video on me. I could have did a video on him, but what's the point? Because he wants airtime, publicity. No, thank you, Randy.
Well, yeah, he's going to get loads. I mean, you don't see the benefits for you of Ranty going up a mountain with an auto level. Can you not? I can.
No,
it's amazing. Nobody could ever see the benefits of any of this stuff. It's a waste of time trying to help people out seeing the benefits of Ranty going up a hill with an auto level. At least some people might have understood what the whole process of measuring elevation is and how that works and what it's all about. It's unfortunate that nobody's ever looked into it. I had a discussion today with it was a flat earther who got upset at the fact that I told him it wasn't flat. And there are actually proofs that it's not flat. He said, he wanted to see curvature, but he didn't know what curvature it was that he wanted, because he didn't seem to think that, like actual Earth curving, like mountains and hills and all of that he didn't believe that was Earth curve. So, yeah. Well, it's good to see that Brad, the science guy, is in here supporting Jesse Kozlowski, who graciously gave his time and effort to gaslight an entire community into believing that magic can be performed with angles. He also convinced people that you hammer nails into the side of lakes and then place auto levels on them, and then place a measuring stick at weird angles up at the side of auto levels and stuff. I mean, if anybody knew anything about how surveying works, they would obviously know
that it's like a NASA operation. There's clowns clearly acting, and I don't know why people can't see. Like, Brad's obviously fallen for it. It's like somebody watching a sitcom and getting involved with the characters within a sitcom. I mean, Brad, the science guy, really likes the Jesse Kozlowski character, but he's been wrote out of the script. Not around anymore. He served his purpose. He's never going to come back and help him out as to why he banged nails at the side of lakes. I mean, like, is it a geodetic surveying thing? I mean, has anybody else ever talked to any other geodetic surveyors? And while you are talking to them, just ask them if they've ever put a spirit level, banged it on 2 nails at the side of a lake to measure whether the lake is flat, perfectly flat lake, or to see whether the other side of the lake drops from where they are, like Bob the science guy did. Sorry, not Bob the science guy. Research Flat Moon, when he went out in his back garden with sticky tape. I mean, who is there out there to verify this blue marble science surveying? Who knows? If there is anybody in this arena that knows anything about surveying, like really, truly knows anything about surveying, they would be able to see that what Jesse Kozlowski was doing just is not surveying procedure. And I think they've learned their lessons from Jesse Kozlowski. They're never going to employ another surveyor within this arena because it went badly. It's left them in a really bad predicament because a conundrum, a paradox has been exposed to everyone. The dogmatic globe has been given a chance. We've been given a chance by Jesse Kozlowski to be able, in the first time in written history, that we will have a proof of the dogmatic globe. Before Jesse Kozlowski, this wouldn't have been available, because it was just never thought of. But since Jesse Kozlowski said the immortal words that level drops away from horizontal at a rate of 8 inches times distance in miles squared, a quadratic equation to it, add that to it as well, like to make it even more ridiculous. Ever since he said that, I knew that the arena that I was in, this arena, is it's all an act made by characters, and characters that can't talk about things. Like, there's another one. Have anybody heard of Red's rhetoric? He has no rhetoric. It's ironic that he has no ability to communicate through rhetoric. He only has a model. It's like a dogmatic. I'm not too sure whether you can have a dogmatic rhetoric, because it's very scripted. I suppose you could, couldn't you? I mean, you could script a dogmatic rhetoric, but I'm not too sure how good he is at that. He's never going to talk to us about it. He's never going to come up with that evidence about my family that when he slandered it. I think I might do that. I might clip that one tomorrow about Red's rhetoric, where he said he was going to clip it, and I'll put it out as a video, and hopefully that'll spur him on to back up his slander of us. Because I mean, what happens if you slander somebody and then aren't able to back it up? I mean, it's like a true slander. I mean, everybody knows it goes on, but I mean, at least if we get it documented into a video, then it'll be there for everybody to have a look at. No, I've never talked to a geodetic surveyor. Only crazy people on the internet. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to internet blue marble surveyors, but like I say, I'm not too convinced that they're real surveyors. They seem to say things that I know for a fact that real surveyors don't do, and there is a code of ethics within surveyors that, you know, like it's like a bar. You have a job to the public to not lie about what you do. You have to be honest within your job. And Jesse Kozlowski, by stating that level drops away from horizontal, that's a blatant lie. But I think he's just scared of the real globe. The dogmatic globe sort of holds a gun to your head once you've been in the arena for too long. You can't leave the dogmatic globe. It's just not something that you're allowed to do, because the narrative has been set up that if you don't believe in the dogmatic globe, then you are a flat earther. Which, I mean, it isn't true, but it works quite well for anybody within the dogmatic globe system. It makes it impossible for them to ever leave the dogmatic globe. That's why you see them huddle together in large groups. They find solace in comfort in the masses of people, where they can sort of chant to each other. But I guess everybody's doing that nowadays. Everybody wants to find themselves a nice little spot where they can feel comfortable. But then maybe sometimes not. Maybe sometimes you want to challenge yourself. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to have conversations, but it's a lot easier for people to just not have conversations than trouble themselves with contradictions that may occur. And I think everybody in this arena knows that if they have a conversation with us, me, they will be exposed to their own contradictions. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be able to face up to contradictions that they may hold, because it's troubling. It's painful. It's hard work for you to be able to do that. Modern day times. Fun times. So what we're going to do is, how long have we got? 20 past. Let me have a look what I've got on me. We had Nico come over. Right. I don't know whether we can do this or not, whether... see where let's see how it goes. What screen have you guys got on? Can you see that? Yes, you can, can't you? Look at that, already done. Going on. Oh, it's all over the place. Yeah, I don't think that's not going to work. I'm going to have to find another way of doing this. I was going to try and hopefully show people the similar triangles, similar angles. But that's not going to work, so we can't do that. Has anybody got anything they'd like to go over? I've got an argument to build. I'm not too sure I can do it while we're out here, so we may have to go into the Discord to explain this to the people in the Discord. Hopefully it's Thursday, Euclid Day tomorrow. Going to be we are going to be setting this test up. There will be proofs coming. Now, if anybody wants to get involved in any of this stuff, I'll keep saying it. Pop into Discord. I'm going to try and put them into video, but we're going to need to be able to explain these proofs and walk through them and be able to present them. That needs us to be able to talk through them and discuss the arguments. So if you want to get involved in it, come on into the Discord. Any way you can. You will be helping for generating us a way for us to be able to talk about this. Okay. Wow. Yeah, we've got some. Yeah, as everyone can see, these are strange times we're living in. Get ready for the debate at the weekend, Saturday. Going live. Is it rational to know that level is horizontal and to believe in the globe model? The two things. I mean, it should be a good question for you to be able to ask people. A good a way to start the conversation rolling. Right. Let's have some Buster tune. Anyone got a song or whatever? Taking requests. We're going to go into Discord to sort out what we're doing. I don't know where. Oh, Kev's busy at this week, any. We will be starting over another Hillsdale College course. So if you want to get on that, ethics, I think that's pretty relevant at the minute, that, because it takes us into a different area, because I think that's where we're at. Morals and ethics. It's the next step out of it. Because it seems like within this has gone. Oh, Mike. Yes, Betty is debating Mike Jones again. Hopefully this time we can sort out the definitions and get straight into the actual debate rather than going over that stuff. It's early. It's on the AM, but it will be live streamed on this channel, not Blue Marble Sciences. And we probably will go back over it again later on in the week for the people that didn't hear it, see it, or whatever, when it was on. So I think it'll be 5 AM Central. And it's 10 AM UK this Saturday. Okay, has anyone got a request? Rob? He's got his headset on. Okay, well, since we'll always be going with this, this is the... we're going to be talking over an argument, and this argument goes step by step by step. But it starts, as always, solid foundations. This is how you start an argument off. Join us tomorrow.
So let me give you a hypothetical. I want you to imagine a 6-mile long stretch of water. This water is straight and level and does not flow.
Advanced simplicity takes hold. You'll find the truth from things of old.
So let me give you a hypothetical. I want you to imagine a 6-mile long straight stretch of water. At each end of this straight stretch of water is a bridge. Point A, so you've got 2 bridges. Point B. This water is straight and level and does not flow. At each end of this water is a bridge. Point A, point B. At each bridge there is a plumb bob hanging down to the water.
We are on the road.
Even altitude.
Suspending judgment until the truth is known. You will find peace within.
Let me give you a hypothetical.
In the midst of all these troubled souls.
Now, on these vertical strings, can you imagine an even altitude? A point at an equal height above the surface of the water below.
Advanced simplicity takes hold.
An even altitude.
You'll find the truth from things of old.
And on these vertical strings, can you imagine 2 points? So let me give you a hypothetical. Can you imagine point A an even altitude? At these points and point B, and on these vertical strings, we can establish a perpendicular and even altitude and call one point A and the other point B. 2 points. Point A, point B, even altitude.
We are on the road.
2 points.
Suspending judgment until the truth is known.
Point A.
You will find peace within.
Point B.
In the midst of all these troubled souls.
The point at an equal height above the surface of the water below. Point A, point B. Point A, even altitude. Point B.
There's no end game in my
shortest distance between those 2 points?
It's only the truth that we seek to find.
We know the shortest distance.
There's no end game in mind.
Between 2 points is a straight line.
It's only the truth that we seek to find.
Now, here's the question I'm asking myself. How can the distance between these 2 points be anything other than horizontal?
Everyone must see it for
horizontal.
The truth
2
is
points.
there for you to find.
And then ask yourself, and the water.